Putting on a show for a small but select group of onlookers, including Melbourne trainer Mick Price. The stallion is Prince of Brooklyn, formerly trained by Price, but now standing at Grassyards Farm on the outskirts of Dunedin. It's the first venture into thoroughbred breeding for enthusiast Jason Cootes.
We had sent mares to the North Island and that comes at a cost, so we thought, well, let's have a go down here.
Around the same time, Prince of Brooklyn by Magnus out of the Zabeel mare Tristabeel was showing early promise on the racetrack.
Prince of Brooklyn, the first starter, sprinted quickly. Moved up to take the lead now from Strikem. Batterhoff getting up on the fence, counterpulse late, but Prince of Brooklyn wins on debut.
Prince of Brooklyn was owned by Melbourne commercial property investor Chris Marks, a long-time owner of thoroughbreds.
My original start was with Rick Lacey and had some really good success with him. He was a guy who had a really good eye for picking young horse, which often turned into a stallion. So we bought a couple of horses cheap, 20,000, won the Blue Diamond, Prelude, second in the Blue Diamond, a horse called Yachty. So yeah, that was a start of some good success, and we've been very lucky ever since. But I think it comes back, Rick selected good horses, and I sort of followed him. And then with Mick, who I've known since he was 20, but only had horses with him for probably 10 years, they know what they're doing, and I follow their judgment.
Judgment that included sending Prince of Brooklyn to an early retirement following a knee injury. Marks registered the lightly raced galloper on gavelhouse.com as a stallion prospect and got plenty of interest.
The other call I had was from Jason. Rang up and he was down here in Dunedin, said he was looking to find maybe a foundation stallion for some things he was wanting to do, and I could see and did some research that he and his wife had a sort of a horse-related pedigree and background, so I understand, they would love the horse.
He turned up on Gavel House. We looked at him and thought, hey, probably suits New Zealand, damn size Zabeel. He went early himself, he was a big horse, and could we introduce a bit of speed to the South Island? So we thought, yep. The big question for me was, well, how can we afford him? What's it all going to cost? And yeah, we contacted Chris just to sort of say, hey, look, put a toe in the water, we're interested, but we'll see how things go. Meeting Prince, that was a great day in my book. I remember when he rolled off the truck and you think, oh, now there's a bit of reality. The first day we served, I remember Shane and I, we had 3 mares and we were sitting there going, this is easy. I think we got to the end of the day and we hadn't covered a mare. And I thought, mate, this can't be this hard, eh? But once I worked it out and once Prince worked it out, we grew up together, to be fair.
He's got a natural athleticism about him, and I remember him being a very clean-winded horse. So I think we're pretty hopeful that he can get a few more New Zealand mares and get him on the track and get him winning 12, 14, 1600 metre races and be successful.
Success that included a 100% fertility rate in his first season, covering a small band of 15 mares. This year the number has more than doubled to 37.
As part of your plan, now you've seen these horses, to invest in him as well with some mares, whether they be from here in New Zealand or potentially from over your way.
Yeah, well, I think obviously, hopefully being reasonably smart, we wanted to see what he produced, and then having done that, we have an arrangement with Jason that we have a right to deliver 3 mares. And I think now that we've seen what's happening, now we can go on and look at what appropriate mares we might source. More than likely, I'd source them through the New Zealand bloodstock connections.
So the next step is to get someone on a plane to Aussie and get them in Mick's barn and put the challenge to them.
Mick, this is your first opportunity to come to this farm, Grassyards. What impression has it made on you?
Oh, look, it's New Zealand, isn't it? It's beautiful air and water and trees, and this is what New Zealand's famous for. I feel it's like the Coolmore of Mosgiel, Sir Jason Cootes himself.
Mick Price in New Zealand come to Mosgiel, that's pretty cool, But he's had a lot of success with the family, and he's backed it up by coming over here, having a look at them and being part of something pretty unique.